All right. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? So, tonight, what we are going to do is we are going to look at some of the tracking for my remix for the Kid Lario. Fucking add the to the name. I had to change all my uploads because of that. And we are also Kid Lario and Justin Bieber. And then after that, we are going to listen to some demos for my album. Sorry, I noticed my my green screen tool is getting kind of pixely on us. So we're just gonna try adjusting that a little bit. Let's try 90. All right. Yeah, well, good enough. So, as what you just heard there, though, and I hope I'm not crazy peeking. Let me try to sit back a little bit. So, my remix, Thumper remix, it's out now for the Kid Lario and Justin Bieber. Their track "Stay." And we are going to look at, because I noticed there are people online who have done covers of this and such that are getting thousands and thousands of views. So I figured I should do a breakdown if, you know, someone just playing the bass along to it is getting attention. So let's hear the track back with the vocals. You just heard the instrumental. And we're going to hope it doesn't overload my CPU. And which I'll bring that back up because that factors into the way I produce things and have so much going on. But here it is with the vocals. All right. So that's the final mix that ended up coming out without the mastering settings on it. And again, if I'm peaking, if the music is peaking, I know there's just a handful of people right now in here in the various chats. Just let me know if something's too loud and it's distorting. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, but I'm just doing it visually. So, the track. Handful of things about it. First, you'll notice the whole structuring is different. There are a few things I loved about this track from the moment I heard it. It's got a very 80s new wave kind of feel without feeling like it's ripping off the Weeknd's whole shtick right now. It's has Charlie Puth and Kashmir Cat produced on it. Anyone who knows me, I love both of them. Kashmir Cat, especially, people can probably hear that in my production sound. And that's what I really tried to bring into this, though, because I felt like the original, while it was, there are things that if you know Kashmir Cat well enough, you'd hear it. You hear it especially when it drops towards the bridge of it, and there's the big choir vocals, because he does a lot of that kind of Bon Ivory vocal effect, harmony engine stuff. So that was what I really wanted to bring into this. Is I was basically like, well, what if I used my Thumper sound? You know, everyone knows I'm trying to define this sound as a like R&B trap chip tune kind of. If Daft Punk were black, I say. So that vibe, but also bring in that old school Kashmir Cat vibe. And the original song is amazing. I could listen to it on repeat. And generally, if I can listen to a song on repeat, I like to remix them. They do take more time. I made the acapella myself. So let's start off there. So our main vocals we got here. We have one which is the so this is me pitch shifting. I call this the black girl attitude vocal. But you hear those artifacts. There's the harmony engine. But you hear the artifacts. And there's a place where artifacts really work, like in Madeon tracks, where he's got that breathing that's then ran through Melodyne. Here, it just kind of, like, it gives it a gritty. I'm not great at mixing them out. I realized I know someone that seems to be, because he gave me a blend of a Porter Robinson track and San Holo that I'm working on. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk straight when I'm listening to the words. So, and this one is really just gritty and there to cut through the mix. That's similar. It's got Nectar on it, so it's got, you hear more of a reverb going through it, delay. Even more. This one has endless smiles, so you hear me automating into fills and fades with it. Like that. And just off into the fucking atmosphere. So there's two endless smiles here. So again, I'm using the first one, which I'm pretty sure would be the. Okay, so I'm using Helium Jump, which takes it up in that echoing and pitching, but I'm also using the face melting. I'm kind of. And this is, again, me just taking that vocal and sort of weaving it into the mix. Alright, so now for the fun the fun vocals. Well, let's just see So these are all harmony engines where I'm playing the notes. And we also, and then we have this. And that second vocoder I just put on, that's the one that, especially in the Bieber verse, you can hear this just, I mean, just kind of gritty. I'm wasted still. And that's normally under. Just again, giving it a... Because the original has like a... I mean, it's a rock track. That's the reason why so many people are covering it. And then I got my... And that gives you the... So, now the group master down here at the bottom, what that is, because it's shut off, but it's sent to one of the main tracks, because Nectar 3, sorry, it's just so much in my brain when I'm trying to talk. So Nectar 3 has this setting where you can put this relay plug on things, and it will essentially EQ and carve out a spot in the mix for the vocals based off of everything else it's hearing. So let me... So, and again, in the original, their verses just kind of go right into each other. You don't... I use this to break it up, and then you can see I've copy and pasted this. Got the Black Girl Attitude vocal, then a hook again. Now here's... That is so good. And so good. And there were points in time where I wasn't even going to use the main vocals. The chopping. It's just, again, remixing the song and building the song out of the vocals. And then this part was the... And here's, I mean, the end is where you kind of let it all hang out, so... And you hear I'm just adding on texture and layer and... Even those little bits out, like... I mean, the way that's kind of going in and out, that's probably those artifacts, but happy accidents. Okay. So, let's mute all these vocals, and then we'll look at the track. Okay, let me first say, one of the things that gets me caught up a lot, and I'm very concerned about just speed. How many songs can I get out? How quickly? And that's why if you look, like, a lot of my stuff, all of these, you know, it's like, I mean, I'm doing a lot. Like, yeah, I'm layering and layering and layering. And when we get into the chip tune sounds, trust me, that was a process. We're talking grouping and then bouncing and grouping and then bouncing so we can turn like arpeggiators into pads, and it's unnecessary. But it's a I've learned to embrace the process, because friends of mine will say, if you hear a rock song from me, it sounds like a whole different person. And it's because the process, my whole way I step into it and go through it and all of that is just different. But when I'm doing production tracks like this, see, I know how to like drum program and go really in on it, like tuning all of my stuff and manipulating all the stuff, and like there's a fine line between production and sound design nowadays, and it's good to understand the importance of both, but there's a time and place for each, because sometimes there's a Tupac quote actually. My friend Cans used it on a song of his, where he's talking about, he says this quote about, you know, niggas in the studio and wasting all this time, and you know, you can do the song or you can do the song when everyone's here. You spit a verse, you spit a verse, you spit a verse, whatever that nigga said last is the hook. And there can be someone here who wants to spend all night working on tweaking the kick drum and all this stuff, but while everyone's here and it's time to work, let's get to work. And that's really the reality of the situation. There's a time and a place for the sound design. When I'm trying to knock out a track and get on with it, I generally do a lot of the drum stuff with loops. Now, I will go in and layer in my own kicks and snares, so people who are up on all the loops, it won't just sound like the loops. I'll layer loops. I'm not just throwing in a drum loop and calling it a day, as you can see. But on my releases and my album, I generally will start with loops and then go back in. Sometimes hit for hit, very similarly, and stuff like that. But I mean, again, you can see just layers and layers and layers. So it's not like I'm just like, oh, I don't do the drums, throwing a loop, good enough, get on with it. But that's the part where I can really dive in. So sometimes it's better for me to just put that in and get right on to the next part. So, in my drum machine, you got that. Then this one comes in. And with the layering too, as you can see, like here I'm using Endless Smile, so I can tweak them and create the builds and the fills and all of that stuff. Those are all rising. And then I'll generally find these, I think they're Vengeance, these kind of huge effects kick, the impact on certain areas. And that's where a lot of my real big sort of at the roll. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, that's crash sounds. That's here we got our basses. And there's a lot of bass. Then we got the slap bass. Oh my god. And that, you know, you barely hear it when it's in the mix, but like it kind of adds to just the attitude of it. Yeah, see, you can hear it when I point it out, but that's a slap bass plugin. Should probably put these on if I'm gonna be in front of the screens for a while. Okay. We got that. These are the synths. These, I mean, you know, the crazy thing is I could completely just, let's just R&B mix this shit real quick. Yeah. Yeah. Oh shit. Another remix right here. That might, I think that's a